Pollokshields is quite a small community.
Nowadays, every road is busy. Cars racing here. So a lot of people live here now.
30, 40 years ago, that was the only place where anyone who came to this city with an ethnic minority background used to go there.
Certainly from being from Glasgow, it's certainly got quite a cultural instinct about it.
There is the Gurdwara, which belongs to the Sikh community. There's a mosque of the Muslim community, and there are 3 churches of different denominations of the Christian tradition. And so I think that in itself is quite a unique makeup. Very rare to find that level of diversity on what is the central street of Pollokshields in Albert Drive.
My name is Farouk. I am 40 years old and I have my own business, which as you can see, it's a wedding related business and also a cater hire business, and I've been doing this for 10 years now.
My name is Jatinder Berman. I'm from Newton Mearns. What I do in terms of work is I'm part-time club development officer for Clydesdale Cricket Club. I also work as a part-time hockey coach, but most of my work is predominantly done down here at Clydesdale.
My name is Molly Gillen. I'm from the south side of Glasgow, just on the outskirts of Pollokshields. I'm 21 years old and I'm a 4th year student at UWS.
My name is Shandeep Singh. Well, I was born and brought up in Pollokshields.
My name is Lawal Singh Mehmi. I'm a president of this Gurdwara, Guru Granth Sahib.
My name is Mike Stanger and I have been a member of this club since 1978. I've been president, I've been chairman of cricket, I've been junior convener. Nowadays I'm nothing at all.
Many Asian people from India and Pakistan historically used to just want to stay in that area because life was a lot more easier for people.
Pollokshields was one of the first areas that probably became affordable, became hospitable for them.
And to move to Glasgow, it was almost like living a life of luxury. You could get a job, you could get a house, you could get free NHS services. It's for most people, I think they move there because of that, because Glasgow is such a great provider of facilities.
They want a house to live near the friends or their families. That's the reason a lot of families moving in here.
My grandpa, he's actually Indian. He's from Sri Lanka, and his family moved from Sri Lanka in the 1940s to areas like Pollokshields in order to get better housing, in order to get better job.
Being with people of your own background does give you that safety. You do feel that security within yourself, and it also is a way for future generations to be able to keep their connection as well. If you surround yourself with people of a certain community, then you almost emulate them. And so if the Indian and Pakistani communities create a good bond between themselves, then their further generations, like people of my age, will still continue to feel that heritage. We'll still speak the language, we'll still enjoy the same food, we'll still make regular trips back to Punjab and continue on that deep connection that we have with that heritage.
If you go back a generation, people my mum's age that have came from abroad in late 60s, early 70s, that didn't know how to drive at the time. Language wasn't their strongest point, English language. So that was an easier place to stay, an easier way to live there, to communicate with people, to go and buy your groceries for the house. It was very convenient and very easy for them, so people used to prefer staying in that area.
We are very different communities. We dress differently, we eat differently, we speak differently, we celebrate differently, we express ourselves very differently as well. And I think that gives you a natural kind of attraction towards people of your own community.
The Clydesdale Cricket Club was one of the first sports clubs in Scotland to actively encourage Asian membership. And when I was junior convener, I encouraged kids to come along and to take a full part in our activities. In those days, kids weren't allowed in the clubhouse, nor were women. So there was a lot of discrimination going on, and we had to overcome all that kind of stuff.
Does it put white people off staying there? To some, yeah, it probably does. You still see white people there, but how many? Certainly not enough.
If you're white and Scottish, that's obviously, I believe that's obviously your sort of belief whether it is going to be an issue or not. If it's not an issue, then you just get on with your daily life and that's it.
I've walked past that area all the time, and even though there might be a bigger amount of people that live in that area, that has no effect in my life because I grew up with them. I'm so used to seeing them all the time. I went to school with them. I work around that area, so like I work with the majority of them. They're just people to me. They're just people that live in a certain area. It makes no difference at all in my life.
Indian, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, community living there. Live with the white peoples. From some other country people, they left each other. Depend on how they understand each other. If they go and mix up a community, they can bring up a nice place, peacefully live together.
From the people I've ever spoken to, particularly that come from Pollokshields, they've never mentioned it being a problem, so I don't see it would be a problem just now. Most Indians and Pakistanis I've always known, particularly from a Pollokshields background, have always been quite selfless and quite respectable to other people, so I don't see why it should be an issue.
We can't get away from the fact that we're all immigrants here in Scotland as well, even though we've been here for, 80, 100 years. This history of the South Asian community goes back to the 1910s, the 1920s. So we have very, very deep roots, but you can't get away from the fact that we do still have a very deep connection to our homelands in Pakistan and India.
You're going to get different people from different walks of life, whether they are Scottish, Indian, Pakistani, man, women, different ages, etc. It'll always vary and it'll always be somebody different. But the idea of obviously, particularly always from my point of view, is that you meet somebody, you always be respectful to them and hopefully they'll be respectful back. I reckon everybody, particularly from a Pollokshields area, will have the same sort of attitude. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an hospitable place to live.
Our Guru said to us, don't talk about any religions. All religions are respectful. Respect them. If you don't respect them, nobody can respect you.
I can't think of anything in the Bible that tells me that I shouldn't separate someone else from a community. Jesus went out in the streets. He talked to the people that were excluded from lives. He didn't speak to people that were in power and that. He spoke to people that he thought weren't loved by people, and he made them feel loved. So me personally, I show my love to anyone because they're just human beings. No matter how they feel about something, if someone's gay, if someone's Muslim, if someone's from a black community, it doesn't make a difference to me because all I know is from the Bible, it tells me to love people no matter who they are.
I think you also have to be ready to accept that we do have differences, but to accept those differences, we choose to live our lives according to our own beliefs and traditions. But the beauty of this area in Pollokshields is that we're all very accepting of each other. During our festivals, we've had people coming over. For example, recently we had a festival of the founder of the religion, Guru Nanak, his birthday. And we had people coming. They saw the lights and things shining. They saw the little flags that we have tied up here fluttering in the wind. And some of them just came inside the Gurdwara through curiosity. And I think that we are ready to share. As long as we're ready to share our beliefs and our traditions, then I think that will make a big impact on creating a more harmonious community.
I think there's a huge cultural gap, but I don't think they're deliberately trying to separate themselves. I mean, Clydesdale is still regarded by the local Asian community as their sports club, and whenever there's an event on here that actively encourages the local population, the local Asian population to come along, then the place is packed.
We all humans, and we need to understand each other. Don't bring a religion between them. Your religion is a human. If a human respect each other, so we just like a jungle.